Okay, welcome back to another good podcast here. I'm going to dive in with some nitty-gritty social media pet peeves. Because what we're talking about is social media etiquette in 2018. People have lost their damn mind out there.
Agreed.
And so we need to bring some order of peace to things. And thankfully, I have Caitlin Tinney and Spencer King back to help people get in that right frame of mind. Lady, fella. Thanks for being back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's some of your social media pet peeves?
Well, I just like to say my name's Caitlin. I'm a recovering social media debater. Walking through, I think I'm like 2 years clean. So.
Are you saying that you haven't been in a heated discussion on social media in the last 2 years? Because I think I might call BS on that.
Well, you wouldn't be able to prove it because I deleted my old Facebook. No.
Okay.
No, it might be longer than that. Or less than that. I don't know. Who knows?
Social media pet peeves. Anyone?
I made a list.
Did you make a list?
Yeah. Do you want to hear them?
Yeah, I want to hear the list.
Okay. Overposting.
Like
four posts a day.
4 posts a day is overposting.
Overposting.
Okay,
Yeah.
has everyone got that?
I'm about to friend
4 posts a day, overposting.
Yeah,
All right.
overposting.
3, you're good. Okay, what else?
Yeah, 3's pushing it too.
Okay.
Though. Okay.
That makes sense.
Complaining. If you are only complaining on your social media platforms, I don't want any of that business.
Okay. I like that.
Trolling for the sake of trolling.
Okay.
People that just want to start an argument.
Okay.
That's a no-go for me.
Okay.
Posting too much about your personal life when it's always negative.
It sounds like complaining to me.
Sounds like complaining.
Yeah, but this is more like, my. It does sound like complaining. It's a form, but it's even.
Listen, this is just a sign of like how much he really hates complaining.
It's just it's like it's not complaining. It's just like constant sad posts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bring attention to how much I'm winning the My Life Sucks game.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it.
Exactly. And then the last one is too much self-promotion.
Okay.
I have a friend on my Facebook.
It's probably me. Go ahead though.
No, so it's okay. There's a clear distinction here. The first one is if it's your business and you're promoting, that makes sense.
Okay.
If it's
You're
from
safe
your
there.
personal social media, I cannot stand that. There's this. I have a good friend of mine. I'm in the music scene around here, and he posts about his band probably 4 times a day.
Yeah.
And they're not even good.
Ouch. Is anyone you know what I didn't see on your list? Selfies. Is anyone surprised that it's 2018 and people are still taking selfies in front of a damn mirror?
It depends how good they look.
No. You're in front of a mirror.
The MySpace mirror selfie.
No,
Yes,
seriously.
It's making a
pretty.
comeback.
I get that.
The thirst is
Like-
real for Spencer.
I'm single. Hey.
Like decade ago, I get it, but seriously?
Yeah, no, it's still a thing.
All right, what are your pet peeves?
Grammatical errors. If you're going
Oh,
to post,
come on.
no,
You're not one of those people.
Listen, no, I let most of
It's
stuff go.
Facebook,
only
who
because
cares?
I understand autocorrect is real, okay? I've been the victim of autocorrect. I
Okay.
get it. It's real. But when you are like just an a-hole on Facebook and you're going to be an a-hole in all of your comments and your posting and you can't even take the time.
And you miss a comma?
It's
then
not even
you're
a comma.
gonna- you're gonna
It's
get
like
it from
just
Caitlin.
bad English.
They, there,
bad
there.
English.
Okay.
Or,
All right.
like the they, there thing.
that's
Come on,
understandable.
y'all.
Okay, all right,
It's
go ahead.
2018.
Download Grammarly. Sorry, that's a plug for Grammarly.
Anyways, yeah, that's one of them.
Okay.
The self-pity kind of self-deprecation kind of thing.
Okay.
Like there's one person in particular I'm thinking of right now who has been posting nonstop more than 4 times a day about how hot it is in Texas. You live in Texas. I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay.
Overposting, that's one of them.
Yeah.
And the selfies kind of get to me because I'm like, listen, I see how many friends you have on Facebook. You can't think to come up and take a picture with one of those 2,000, 3,000 friends?
Yeah.
Come on. That's really it, though. I let a lot of things slide.
Well, good for you. Now, did I hear you say before we went live, Spencer, that you've pulled back in some ways?
Oh, yeah.
What are we doing here? Where are you at with social media?
People are really sad on social media.
Okay.
So I have gotten to the point where I can't help them, so I need to help myself. So I've pulled back. I used to debate everybody who would post things that I disagreed with, and I've just stopped.
Okay, so it's not it's not the sadness of their post that you're upset with. It's the controversy and the arguments and the back and forth. And nobody's wanting to learn They're just wanting their voice to be heard.
It's all the political noise. It's all the political noise. It's all the theological noise. Everybody thinks they're a theologian on social media. That's the type of thing I used to debate regularly.
Yeah, and so before we get into the etiquette, which should be done, this kind of bridges that gap based on your last point, Spencer, and that is when it comes to what we type on these devices, have we taken our freedom of speech too far?
I would say that, but then somebody would say, well, that's my freedom of speech to do that, so.
Okay, but you have the freedom to do it.
Yeah. Should you do it?
Should you do it?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people. I think if we're I mean, this is obviously a church misfit video. I think of that scripture where it's better to open your mouth and to have everyone know that you're a fool. What's it? Do you know what I mean? Oh, I might be saying it backwards.
People usually relate it to, like, tongues, right?
Oh, no, it's just like something where it's like it's better to keep quiet and have people question if you're a fool than to open your mouth and let everybody know that you are actually a fool.
And you can find that wisdom in Proverbs and probably 5,000 different places. But somehow it doesn't prevent Christians from acting the damn fool online and typing things before they've checked it in their heart or their brain.
See, I think you're hitting on it. I think the issue is just lack of discipline in our generation. They just can't filter themselves, and they can't hold back. They now have an outlet with social media, and so they feel like, oh, this is my space. I own this, and they just put it out there. Plus, people need attention, you know, and they're seeking virtual attention rather than attention of real life people. So.
I want to point out that Forbes put out Forbes.com put out what's the title? Social Media Etiquette, a 12-step checklist. And I thought some of these things were kind of funny, and I think also sad that we have to have a 12-step, like AA. Number 1, should I target a specific audience with this message? Number 2, will anyone really care about this content besides me? Number 3, will I offend anyone with this content? People are like, did you? Don't care. Yep. If so, who? Does it matter? Number 4, is this appropriate for a social portal, or would it be best communicated another way? 5, how many times have I already posted something today? There you go.
Okay, so you just
didn't even read that article.
More than 3 can be excessive. Forbes is ahead of you.
I didn't even read that article.
But see,
it goes on.
You can just stop there, because that's 5, and when someone's going to post something that's really going to ruffle feathers, they're not thinking about any of those things.
I think we should stop at 6. Did I spell check?
Oh my gosh.
Validated. No.
So we're in a culture now, here in America especially, and I think it's like this other places, where we're okay being reckless with our words online, right? Yep. We're not thinking about collateral damage, because all we're thinking about is this is my little box of the world to stand on and voice my opinion in words, and I don't care who it hurts. I'm just going to let the words fly, and I'm not going to consider anything else. And what's scarier is that Christians do it in the name of Jesus. Because they think they're standing on truth, right? And so now we're starting to split hairs, because one Christian can get up, and we've seen this a lot lately with Hillsong. Hillsong has been the latest, famous Christian group to bash for whatever reason. Oh, there was a word in their song. Oh, we don't like something they posted.
Okay,
oh, their pastor mentioned something,
and so I feel like I need to say I'm only like 6 months clean.
That
one got me.
So it's okay in the Christian world. It's okay for a Christian to bash other Christians as long as the Christian that's doing it is more correct in their interpretation of the Word of God.
I don't even think they care if they're correct.
Meanwhile, I don't think so either. Meanwhile, the rest of the world watches that conversation unfold and says, see, that's why I don't want anything to do with the church or Jesus.
Yeah, for sure. People want to be fulfilled by being right. Yeah. That was me. I mean, that was me probably a year ago, 2 years ago probably. I don't know. But, they want to be right, and they want to be a step above everybody else. They want to be the forward thinker. They want to be the one in the right. They want to reign supreme. So they get fulfilled by it.
There it is. So for whatever reasons, we have this digital soapbox that we can stand on be reckless, throw things out there without thought, without etiquette. And if you're a Christian, I mean, who cares about what Jesus would have you do online? Just say what you're thinking and feeling and find some way to back it up in Scripture.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, I feel like we need to help, especially our Christian brethren, understand that the digital world does reflect the real world, and whatever's going to come out of your mouth on social media should be the same thing that comes out of your mouth if you're standing face to face in front of the person that you're speaking it to.
Absolutely. Yep.
And if you can't do that, shut the hell up.
Yep.
That is not representing Jesus.
Nope. You're right.
Or is it protecting your next holiday with your family members?
You got a story you'd like to share?
And no, they may listen to this.
So if you ever want to see, you ever want to get really pissed off at the church, go join like a worship forum.
Oh, dude. Yes.
So if you go join like a church-specific forum about, learning more about the culture and things like that, specifically worship. Worship's a great one because they will debate specific songs. They'll debate specific lyrics. They'll debate how your sound sounds at church. It's pretty disgusting.
Oh my God. There will come a point where we're all in heaven looking back on the way we split all these hairs down here on earth, and we'll all be shaking our heads.
Yeah.
We were all idiots.
Yeah,
we were all idiots.
Yeah.
Right? I don't understand why we can't just have that perspective now. Why we have to get into it, the weeds. So let's do this. Let's round this out with some etiquette, some 2018 etiquette. Mm-hmm. What should you do, right, when these things arise? So first one, conversation starts online. It gets a little heated. Blood pressures are rising. More people are starting to chime in. And boom, the first person just got personally bashed. Mm-hmm. What do we do? What should you do in that scenario?
I would say...
And it was your post that started it, by the way.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I would try not to post anything like that. That would be the first thing. But then outside of that, I would... If I noticed somebody was getting personally offended, you might want to send them a personal message, like a direct message outside of that, and clear the air a little bit. I would say that would probably be a good move.
Yeah, I would say and it doesn't even, you don't even have to it doesn't have to be controversial. I made some post about how I couldn't sleep one night, and so I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, could not go back to bed, so I just went to the gym. I was like, I'm up, might as well go to the gym, not going back to sleep. And believe it or not, somebody got on there and was like, you should be praying to the Lord, sister. Okay, yes, I was praying through my whole dang workout, okay? But sometimes it just happens. And so I think the best thing, number one, is always be kind. Just be kind, respond in grace, and just be kind. Make your response back to them
turn
non-controversial.
the other cheek.
Yes,
we don't do that digital. We don't turn any digital cheeks, do we? Actually, we put those fists up. We're ready to go down.
I've been wrong this whole time.
Okay.
Caitlin will remember this. I don't know if you will. I did post something about a couple months ago about meal prepping.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember this?
Yeah,
I was getting so triggered. They were people. I was asking for tips on meal prepping. Mm-hmm. People that do that, they're making their food ahead of time. I was looking for recipes, things like that, and then people were getting on there and being like, "Drink more water," and I was like, "What the heck?" They were telling me about, make sure you're getting enough protein. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with
one of those many topics where everybody feels like they're a pro, and so we're all regurgitating things that we've read or been told.
I was looking
Here's what you do, Spencer.
I was like, give me a recipe that you put food in a slow cooker, and that's good, and you like eating that for multiple days. That's what I was looking for. But people were just giving me nutritional facts. I was probably 40 comments deep, and I just deleted it. Because I was getting upset. So.
Which I would say I don't know, that falls. We'll circle back when that one comes around.
Okay, so I like that. We got a couple of pointers here.
Yeah.
Can we remember that direct messaging, private messaging is still alive and well? That function still works on Facebook and Instagram and any other form. Use it. Yeah. Use it. Take heated stuff offline. Mm-hmm. Always seek to understand before being understood. It's one of the basic principles that Covey threw out there in his book of Highly Effective People. We don't do that at all. Seek to understand before being understood. I think there's a lot of ways to do that in grace and wisdom.
Yeah.
So So let's take some other should do's. What are some other etiquettes in 2018 that we seem to be missing?
I think a lot of people, like, when you begin to understand, because, right, everyone, I think you see this attacking thing. Like, very rarely do you see a healthy, lengthy conversation on Facebook or any kind of social media platform take place. I think one of the things that I've actually been surprised to see, and this is actually something that I try to do, I'm not always successful because I am 100% redhead, but I think, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I got wrapped up in the fact of another conversation, but is to apologize publicly. Like, lay your pride down, take the swallow pill. Like, if you know that you've been someone who, like, and you may not even have meant to have done it, like, gone into it with the intention of, like, hurting someone or being argumentative or being condescending or anything like that, but all the emotions flare up and, you know, all of a sudden you catch yourself in this big hole.
Love to see that. Wouldn't you? Like, humility.
Yeah.
Humility. And especially if it's from a Christian, but somebody posting saying, hey, you know what, guys? Last week I posted something on this, but I did more research, and it turns out that based on what some of you guys were saying, you're right.
Yeah.
And I apologize for coming out and having this strong stance that I admit that I didn't do much research on, that I just got passionate about, and I apologize if I offended anyone. Whoa! When's the last time you saw a post like that?
I don't know.
See,
Yeah.
that displays character.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end of the day, you know, don't be a coward on this thing. You know, if you're not going to say something to somebody's face, don't say it online.
Yeah.
Right? And people try to hide behind it all the time. Oh, I would say it to their face. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
No, you wouldn't.
There's a
I
lot of
promise
things
you
people would not
wouldn't.
say to me. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay,
And
that's
vice versa.
good. I like that.
Try to be positive would be
Yeah.
a big one to me. Like,
Yeah.
don't post anything you know. I mean, but that's what we're running into is people don't think this way. But try to be positive. And try to be funny. I mean, even if it's not funny, it's still like you get some points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like those are the things that I enjoy when I'm online. I like memes, and which maybe that's somebody's
Pet peeve.
or
Right.
memes.
Right.
I get it, but I like memes.
Yeah.
And just being positive and try to be funny. You don't need to get into personal stuff. If you get into super deep personal stuff, that's when it needs to be offline.
Yeah.
There's no point in doing it in social media.
I would say it's hard too, because as you were thinking that, I was thinking about, like, man, like, what a great time to be alive. Like, we have information at our fingertips in a matter of seconds. And, like, I'm thinking, especially because the millennial generation, like, is so attached to justice sides, like, I struggle with this because I'm like, we need to get information out there, truth out there, like, you know, when it comes to justice stuff. And that's going to be touchy. That's going to be touch and go with some people. It's going to offend some people. But, so I don't know. I struggle with that one. Like, if it's going to offend someone, should I not post it, you know? But at the same time, like, I want people to get it out. And so, like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, when it comes to social media etiquette, but there's something like a justice side or something like that is going to offend some people, how would you guys go about that when it comes to etiquette?
You know, I think it goes back to, and we need to include in the show notes the Forbes article. It was a Forbes article, right, that you referenced?
Forbes.com.
Because I think you said it there. I think having in mind your audience before you post is so vital, right? If I'm going to post something, and as a Christian, I filter my posts through two lenses. Like, my Christian friends, my friends that, you know, believe anything else outside of Christianity. And so if I'm going to post, I want to make sure that I'm either aiming in the middle or that I'm communicating clearly to one side without offending the other. And the reason why I do that is because these are my so-called friends that I'm posting to. These are relationships. These are real. And they matter to me. Yeah. And so I might have a heated thing I want to say on abortion. And if I say that, good. But do I say it in a way that makes the other side feel like they're demons? Or do I say it in a way that communicates a way of truth that perhaps the other side hasn't thought about before, and open up an honest dialogue where people can reach out to me and feel like they can ask questions because I wasn't threatening in tone? And I think when it comes to, I think abortion is definitely a social justice type issue, and so are a lot of things. Yeah. So, like, having the audience in mind, sounds a whole lot like the way Paul and the early disciples took the gospel message and catered it to the audiences and towns and village that they went to. They didn't share the gospel with Greeks the same way they did with Jews. It was different. They approached it from different angles. And I think if we have those kind of mindsets online, man, we can make real progress in terms of communication, healthy communication, and displaying who Jesus is.
I would highly recommend and this is just personally, I can't speak for everybody here, but I would highly recommend that if you're going to share something that's going to need to be really talked about, you should write a blog about it, and not do it in a small amount of characters like Facebook expects or Twitter or Instagram, whatever. I would take it, write something about it, and give your full thoughts. Because nothing's worse than giving it a paragraph, sharing a news story, and then letting people go to war. Put out your full thoughts and see if maybe they can agree to something in there.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that I actually don't do that, but I would recommend that because personally I don't post anything serious anymore, just because I know a lot of people that will look at social media and that's where they get all of their news now. I mean they're just taking. They're getting the highlights, and that's what they know of the news and politics and religion is just what they're getting on social media.
I want to put
nowadays.
a picture in your guys' head. Can you just imagine a blog? Like, just think about like a Trump tweet, and imagine that in a blog. Like if Trump just started blogging, like that kind of frightens me.
I don't think he can. Okay, that's another.
His logic of thinking is only 250 characters at a time.
Talk about grammatical errors.
Oh man.
Okay.
Oh man. All right. So
I digress.
I think as we wrap this up, it's important that in our time, especially as social media provides such a window to the world, such a way to reach and communicate, that we have to remember that at the end of the day, these are still relationships. Even if you have never met this person before in your life, it is still a relationship. It's still a human being on the other end of the message, and the way you communicate matters.
Yeah.
And so if you want to continue being reckless and careless with your words, that's on you. From a Christian perspective, we know that we'll be held accountable for every word that comes out of our mouth.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that's something that's on us that we got to think about. Yeah. And so we need to take this a little bit more seriously. I think that's I want to encourage people to go check the show notes and read this Forbes article. I'm also going to post something on there from Operation Save America, which has nothing to do with social media, but they came out with this what did they call it? Biblical guidelines for social media. They even created a preamble for it. I was reading through this. I was laughing, but at the same time, it's like so much common sense. Nice. And we need these gut checks, these spirit checks. So I'd encourage you to check those out. So, Caitlin, Spencer, absolutely. Thanks again. That was awesome. We're gonna have you guys back to do this soon.
Maybe next time I can say that I'm a year clean.
I hope so.
Me too, actually, yeah.
I hope so. Proud of you both.
Thank you.
Later.